afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Bermuda's News and Views. I'm your host, Don Burgess. And while the sun may not be shining outside, we're getting water for our tanks, so we'll be thankful for that. With us today is one of Bermuda's foremost eco warriors, Ann Hyde from Keep Bermuda Beautiful. Welcome, Ann.
Welcome. Thank you, Don. Thanks for this opportunity.
Now, I'm slightly confused because I thought you were on as executive director to the end of the month, and I saw the announcement that Katie's has been selected to replace you. Are you still on for a few more days?
Yeah, part of the succession plan at KBB is that we both work during the month of January. That's a nice long handover period so that I can introduce Katie to all the fine community partners that we work with, and that she can get a little feel for the job. You do wear many hats in this role because it is a one-person office.
So now that you're getting set to step down and everyone recognizes you as sort of like the face of KBB, how long have you been with the organization, and what drew you to it?
Yeah, so that's an interesting question because I actually didn't plan on taking this job initially. I was hired as a consultant. I was working as a professional organizer, and the KBB board president hired me to help restructure the board and the administration of how the office was run. And I took on the role for a 6-month period, and I so enjoyed doing it that I quit my other job, and I took on the role full time and accepted the permanent position to work for KBB 12 years ago. And yes, now people do refer to me as the trash lady or the one that talks trash. So that's me. Yep.
Yeah. And one who keeps trash in her home as art. You've got a couple pieces behind.
Yeah, so that's some of our permanent collection. We hope to have a traveling trash art show that could go around to schools or corporate lobbies and be on display. This is a talk for the future to get that organized because we now have quite a serious collection of really amazing pieces of art. This is all made from ocean plastics, except for the piece behind me that has some roadside litter in the waste consumption monster there. But we have some really amazing, thought-provoking, whimsical, creative art collection, all made from ocean plastic trash to help raise awareness with that tactile view of bringing art to people and starting a conversation around that.
Yeah, and I want to point out, if anyone has any comments they want to send to Ann, you can just post it in the stream here, and we'll ask Ann. Or if you just want to say thank you for her service, that would be nice as well. So you can go ahead and post it. Before you joined KBB, how passionate were you about the environment?
I probably was just an average person. Hadn't really thought about a lot of the things. When we have our trash picked up from our house and it goes away from us, we don't have to think about it again. That's somebody else's responsibility. Waste management deals with it. I was not very knowledgeable. I wasn't a climate advocate or any of those things. So I have become a devotee, and I am now considered an environmentalist, and proudly so. It is one of the most important things. Obviously, there is no planet B. We need to be looking after our planet and caring for it in the best way that we can. It's difficult in our modern age of disposables, throwaways, consumerism, and being involved with lots of material. It's meant that we have a lot of things to throw away. Trying to make that last and get the longest life out of things instead of disposing them prematurely by donating them, passing them along, repurposing, all those things. I'm now an advocate and would like to try and encourage people to do that so that we're not going and throwing away our perfectly good baby bassinet just because our baby's grown out of it, that we can pass that on to somebody else. So there's lots of different things that we can be doing, and we'll get to that later, about whatever individual actions people can take.
Well, how have you seen attitudes in Bermuda change since you've been at KBB?
That's a great question, Don, because also not only attitudes changing, but the volume of what we can buy, convenience packaging, takeout. There's a lot more takeout restaurants and food sources that we see. There's a lot more single-use packaging in the marketplace now that wasn't there before, and so yeah, that's influencing us unfortunately negatively, but we've seen great strides in initiatives that have been brought to us either from the grocery stores themselves or from corporate groups or from individuals even who are pushing for this. Our youth groups and Fridays for Future making us aware of things. So we've seen single-use bags come in to a pretty popular existence. I think there's been a great upswing in embracing that. That makes sense for people. There were free bags being given away to help those who probably thought that they might not be able to afford to join that initiative. So making things popular, making them affordable and easily accessible to everybody helps us move forward in a better way.
Yeah, I've seen some of the packaging even from takeout places. No straws.
Yeah,
Restaurants asking if you want the utensil packages,
yeah.
or even changing the packaging so it's more biodegradable.
Absolutely. And they may seem like baby steps, but they're all steps in the right forward direction. So that's really good. Bermuda's progressing well. We may be behind in implementing bag ban legislation and things like that compared to some of the islands or neighboring islands or other jurisdictions close by that we're influenced by. But we're moving along with that. And so I think that's good for Bermuda.
Can you give an example, besides the one that you just gave, that shows we still have some progress to go?
Oh, yeah. Well, as much as we try, so um, inappropriate dumping, which may be considered illegal dumping, is still occurring, particularly on our public docks, where there may be small dumpsters there. The small dumpsters are there for the boating public. And when people go and say, aha, I can take my truckload of trash there and dump it in the dumpster or next to the dumpster, and I know that the trash truck will come and get it, that's the wrong attitude. So we still need to make progress on clarifying abuse and misuse of those public spaces and public dump sites, not public dump sites, but public dumpsters or parks waste bins. It's for the convenience of the people who are using that space or that area. It's not for the general public to come to and drop off their trash. There is the public drop off at Tynes Bay, or the regular waste management systems that are supposed to be dealing with regular trash, and truckers should be taking their trucking their trash to the right disposal sites, and I believe they mostly do. But we have a few who are spoiling it for the rest of us, and those are the people we need to reach.
Now, I didn't have this down as a question originally, but I'm sitting thinking, I know we've gone from 2 weeks, twice a week trash to once a week trash. Have you seen that made a change in Bermuda?
It's a little bit of a problem because there are still people who find that very upsetting, and perhaps they need to change their perspective and think about, well, maybe I'm creating too much trash, and is there a way for me to reduce the amount of trash that I create during the week so that one trash collection would be adequate? It's difficult if you're in a big family or if you have a lot of people living in your household, but using washable, reusable things, buying in bulk, reducing the amount of single-use trash that you would have, throwing away things that prematurely that maybe you could donate or give away. There might be ways that you could reduce your trash and then you wouldn't be so royally annoyed with only one trash day. We got along fine with one trash day before, but as I said, our volume of consuming and our volume of plastic containers that we're purchasing has increased over the years. So I can understand where people feel upset by it, but there should be a workaround for them. Maybe it means that they have to buy a wheelie bin with a lid, or some sort of trash bin with a lid, so that their bag is not exposed to being sitting waiting for trash day, and it's sitting outside, and the cat or the chickens or the whoever's pecking at it.
Mm.
So using a trash bin, and let's see if that's a big problem. Let's see how we can make that more affordable for everybody. Trying to reduce the amount of waste that you create in the first place so that you have less trash to throw away. And composting is another way to reduce. If you start composting, a lot of your trash would go into the compost and not into your trash bin. If you start recycling and separating out tin, aluminum, and glass, a lot of that trash would go into a recycling blue bag and not go into your regular trash. So there are lots of ways that you can sort this out for yourself if you think about it. And I would hope to encourage people to do that.
We have a comment from Marley who says, "Thank you so much for your service. Happy retirement." So nice.
That's always very nice to hear, and thank you. It's great to be appreciated. But the main thing is that Keep Bermuda Beautiful has kept going for the last 50, however many years it's been, 56 years, and that we were able to pick up that baton and run with it. And now I'm passing it to Katie. I've brought it along and progressed. I hope that I've been able to progress it, and that I think that Katie's going to do the same thing. So we're going to see good things there. Katie Berry is the new executive director, and KBB has plans to expand and hopefully hire a program manager in the near future. And so we might talk about that too.
Yeah. What do you think is one big picture item that government could do to help foster Bermuda being more consume less and being better for the environment?
And so, well, I think communication is always key, to raise awareness, to be getting the proper facts about things, and not paying attention to what you heard from third-hand information that someone told me, that something told me that they live across the street from somebody who thinks they might know, and really going to the facts. So government has an education officer. She's doing a great job getting information out for waste management section, and how we can help with that. I don't know. I think KBB would like to run promotional campaigns, and help assist government in that regard. Getting proper information and being able to know where to get those facts. I think that's probably it. I could think of a lot of other examples where government may be already trying to make improvements, but it hasn't gotten there yet. So I don't want to criticize or comment on that, because I think they're heading in the right direction.
Okay, good. List 3 things you're proud of during your tenure.
Only 3? Because I do love my job. And so it's been so much fun. One is obviously the Trash Art Show that we created. And of course, we didn't invent the whole idea. We've picked that up from our international partners that we work with. So that's been helpful, because this is something that you can, school children and adults, I suppose we could say probably there are the amateurs and the professionals who really get involved in this. And it's been a great outlet, additional way to be creative and be impactful. So besides the Trash Art Show, we brought back the Rock Watchers program, which was very popular in the 1990s, with people adopting a spot. And now that's called the KBB Adopt a Spot program. That's going great guns with individuals, families, schools, corporate groups, civic groups adopting different locations, or they're willing to commit to going out and doing periodic cleanups. And KBB provides all the supplies for that. So everybody's learning to take a role and take action in keeping our island beautiful, healthy, clean, green, all those good positive words.
I've seen a lot of good corporate citizens giving their employees I'm
And
off.
this is a fairly new concept that started with the corporate social responsibility models for corporate groups, that they would go out and help make improvements and take a day off to give back to the community in which their employees live. And that's so important. And we now have ESG, which is important for corporate groups. This is environmental, ESG, environmental, social, and governance measures. And so that's important for them and their clients that they deal with, that they pay attention to. Again, doing substantial work to benefit their local environment and their local communities and the social well-being of its population. So we're pleased with those measures. Now, the third thing, you asked me for three things. So it was the Trash Art Show, the Adopt a Spot program, and our international links that Keep Bermuda Beautiful has. We've been a longstanding international member of Keep America Beautiful. We follow Keep Britain Tidy, as well as other jurisdictions, particularly those that we have connections to in Bermuda. And we have a lot of nationals living in Bermuda and working in Bermuda from those different countries. But focusing on the ocean plastics problem and welcoming visiting expeditions and getting in touch with different organizations that now we are part of that chain of a global community that are discussing and working on solutions for these major projects. The issues of our trash escaping into the environment, following down storm drains or waterways and getting to the ocean, and then lasting for a long time in the ocean and harming wildlife, marine life, posing threatening problems to human health and that sort of thing. It's a big crisis right now. We see evidence of more and more foreign debris landing on our shores. Quite a lot of it is coming from commercial fishing, but a lot of it's traveling from thousands of miles away that we can trace back to the source locations. And how can we deal with this? And as people like David Wingate have said before, we've tackled serious problems and been able to participate in the solutions when Bermuda joins with other countries and works on these research and science problems. For instance, when we used to get tar on our beach, I think we all remember that. You couldn't go to the beach without getting tar on your towel, your bathing suit, your feet. You had to have less oil or baby oil or mayonnaise or something close by to deal with that. And through Bermuda's participation in researching the problem and discovering that it was coming from oil tankers that were cleaning their bilge at sea, there is now a MARPOL law prohibiting that's really strongly enforced. And so that was one of the things that was plaguing Bermuda, but we worked together with our international colleagues and solved it. So we're hoping, even though the plastic problem is much larger, to also work with our international colleagues and work towards solutions for that. So those are the three things. So my long answer, Don, I'll try and give you my short answers for the next questions.
Okay. I know, like, one of the programs you didn't mention, but I've had the pleasure of working with schools is with the Bermuda Aquarium Museum and Zoo. A couple years ago, I was there when they took school children from around Bermuda to look at Southlands and what could be done with that. How do you think that helps foster a positive attitude, and what do you think the long-term benefits is going to be for those children being involved?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We need to teach each new generation of children, starting from preschool to P1 and right on up, that we can be influencing them. If we want them to treat the world kindly, we need to start at a young age, and that's environmentally and socially and so forth. So these opportunities are great when they can do these big initiatives. This is the BZS youth conference that happens every other year. and really bright people who are involved, like Dr. Jamie Bacon, help lead that, and involving school groups at different ages from different schools on a specific topic. And then KBB has the honor of being one of the invited um, leaders, so that we're giving in different aspects and different information and helping to educate the students as they come through this 2-day forum. So KBB doesn't actually have its own venue to invite students in so much. We go out in the field and teach education in the field or at schools, or as you noticed, with our local colleagues that we work together with.
I know, like the one before the 2017 America's Cup, they also did,
We did America's Cup, we did Southlands, we've worked on big topics like that, and it's great to spark the children's imagination. Well, young people, they are asked to come up with plans for things, and they've come up with some remarkable ideas. That's great. It's a good lesson for them. It's informative for the adults in the room, and it's encouraging. It's hopeful that our next generations are going to help us. If we haven't solved some issues, that they will come along and help solve those issues. So that's good.
So what's the best part of your job, or what's the part of the job you're going to miss when you're not really hanging up your trash picker up?
Yeah. But I'm not going to be in the office day to day. I am going to join the KBB board of directors, and I'm still going to be involved in some of the projects, particularly the non-such projects. So, and I'll be an extra pair of hands if Katie needs an extra pair of hands. So, one of the biggest things that I'm going to miss is I'm a social creature, and I've just really enjoyed meeting so many people and being able to jump around in front of so many different groups of school children, or just having people walk into the KBB office from the street and getting them going on some project. So the thousands of people that I've been able to meet, that's I think what I'll miss the most.
And we're at the end of our time. I promised you 20 minutes, and we've gone over that.
Oh, I'm sorry to go. I talk too much.
That's okay. That's okay. But I want to give you a chance to say one last thing before we sign off today. Is there anything you want to say to the Bermuda public?
So there are some simple steps, and when you say my impact, how could my impact possibly make any difference on one thing that I do? Said 7 billion people. So if we all take one action and do it, and then we add that to our neighbors and our colleagues and our friends and everybody else who's doing that one action, it's really amazing how that can have a positive benefit. So some of the one action things you can do is to be more conscious of the single-use plastic that you might use all the time and try and work on reducing that. Use a reusable water bottle. Use a reusable shopping bag, whether you're going to the grocery store or to go retail shopping. These simple things really help in a long way. Consider supporting the government recycling program. It's simply rinsing out tin, aluminum, and glass and putting it in a different bag. It's that easy. It's not going to create more trash for you. It actually might be easier for you in how you handle your trash. Those simple things would be helpful. And when there's a new initiative that's introduced, give it good consideration and try and participate. That would be my advice. Thank you.
I think, like because you talk about the tin and aluminum. One of the conferences I was with you, somebody was talking about the incinerator and how the metal gets caught at the bottom.
Yeah. So if we stop and think about it, we know that our trash, when the trash truck stops at your house and takes your trash away, it's going to take it to the Tynes Bay Waste to Energy incineration facility. That's where our trash is burned. And what is not burnable is tin, aluminum, and glass. It simply won't burn there. So they have to stop operations and rake all that out. and then start up the incineration fire again. So it makes sense for us to be sorting out the non-burnables because it's not helping to generate electricity. Our trash, when it's burned, is converted to steam, and then that steam is converted to electricity, and it helps support Bermuda's electricity needs. So there's quite a bit of electricity generated from all the trash that we're burning, and that's a good thing. But trying to separate out the things that don't burn and sending them to the recycling center, because the recycling center really does work. They're underutilized, and we could ramp that up if it was mandatory or if more people were participating. We're not going to max out there. And when that is tin and aluminum, when that is sorted and processed and then sent in a container overseas and sold to a place in the United States, that's a bit of revenue for Bermuda. And we know we need all the revenue we can get. So that helps. The glass is crushed locally and used for construction, either to as an under the soil fill instead of gravel, or some sort of abatement, construction or soil abatement like that. So it's useful. It's we're trying to get the most out of all these source materials. And when you're recycling these aluminum and steel, then they don't have to dig in the ground to go and find more aluminum or more ore to make the product. They can use the reused resource material, and that helps reduce costs and it helps the planet. It's a win-win-win situation, really, all around.
Yeah, because I thought I didn't know that, and I thought, well, that makes the trying to get the energy a lot less efficient.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no calorific benefit in trying to burn tin, aluminum, and glass. It simply is not going to exchange into any energy. But plastic is easily burned, and at the high temperatures, safely burned. That is good calorific energy. So is paper, cardboard, wood, clothing. Those things burn really well and create electricity for us.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you for that last piece, Don. I appreciate the extra time.
But not a problem. But to me, that was like a light bulb.
Yeah, and exactly.
I recycle anyway, but it just gave an extra reason why it should be done.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're doing that, and thank you. And so when people think that it's not just a goody two shoes, tree hugger kind of a groovy thing to do, but there's real science behind it. There's real reasons to do it. Then when you have that light bulb moment, then it's easier to get involved and start recycling. It's pretty easy to do.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time today, Ann.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks very much, Don. All the best.
All right. So we had Ann Hyde, currently Executive Director of Keep Bermuda Beautiful, for a few more days. I've been your host, Don Burgess, and it's not the most beautiful days outside, but you can have a beautiful day inside. Thank you for